Woohoo! Amorcito and I are leaving Cordova, no, Rancho Cordova, and we're heading towards Cameron Park. Um, she's so cute. She's so ready to go. I'm learning I gotta get into a different rhythm with this whole biking thing because, as you can see, it is a little past 8 a.m. and yeah, the sun is already not blazing, but it's out and it's hot. So yeah, it's not ideal that the sun is on Amor's face, so I'm learning that it's ideal to leave actually around 5:30 a.m. So, oh, yeah, so I got to adjust my sleeping habits to get out of that city life where I'm like watching YouTube until 12 in the morning so I can actually wake up on time to beat the sun and then we could take a break midday and actually make some progress, without overextending myself because up until this point, I've just been exhausted because I've been biking at the like peak sun hours, and I just can't last that long, and then it takes me a lot of time to recover. So I'm adjusting my flow, and ideally I would have liked to have left earlier, but I'm in the middle of adjustment, so I'm being graceful with myself and just taking advantage of the day. Can you see the mountains in the background? A little bit. Here we go. So we're not on the safest road. There's not a shoulder, as you can see, but it's only temporary. You see the mountains. It's a lot of dead grass. That's just California in drought. Some people seem to know that, and a lot of people seem to be very disconnected from that reality. When I was in Sacramento, I saw, it was painful what I saw. I saw sprinklers just like over-watering small patches of grass along the sidewalk. Like, grass is such a useless, colonized plant. Like, it requires so much water, and it's purely aesthetic, like nothing else. You can't eat from it. It's so inefficient. It hurts to see water being wasted so frivolously like that. Meanwhile, like when I was in Bolinas, people are present to the drought and adapting to that. And so we had a pot underneath the kitchen sink to catch any extra water we didn't use. Whenever the pot would get full, we would pour it out into the garden. And the same with the shower. It would take half a bucket of water until the water for the shower heated up, and so we would save that water and throw it out into the garden. So yeah, California needs water, and colonization is really destroying the balance of the ecosystem. Such an inefficient use of resources. So much to be said on this, but I really need to focus on this road because it's not the safest. So more to be said later. Haha. I'm gearing up at Target real quick before we hit the foothills of the mountain, and there's going to be way less resources available. So look what I got. This freaking backpack cooler is a pineapple. It's so funny. I really hope it fits in this front basket because the backpack cooler I already have, I've had it for years. Like I bought it in Missouri from like a Walmart, so I definitely got my money's worth because I've been living in California for 4 years now, so I've had it for at least 4 years. Also, this helmet has been broken for a while. I've just been legit living in poverty, yeah, below the poverty line actually in Oakland because it's so freaking expensive there. So I've just taken what I can get, but this is actually not as safe. So I got a new helmet. It's worth the investment. I only have $100 in my account right now, but it's definitely worth it, especially as we approach the mountains. And yeah, kombucha. You can't go wrong with a kombucha on the road. It's bubbly and cold, and it's got probiotics and sugar, caffeine. Yeah, it's like great road trip, a bike trip drink. Amorcito, I could hear her barking from the inside, and I was just like, oh man, I hope there's no trouble out there. Because we're in like a pretty wealthy area, so I don't imagine someone's trying to steal my stuff. But I do have my battery out, which feels really vulnerable because the winds are so damn strong. My God, I was going at full speed, like full electric assist, which is completely inefficient, and I was still going really slow and putting a lot of effort. So I'm already exhausted. It's 9:30 a.m. and I'm trying to bike as far as possible before 1 p.m. Sorry, puppy. I love you, little baby. Thank you for waiting here. You're doing really good. Yeah, because the sun is gonna blaze down, and I'm hitting a stretch where there's not gonna be any hosts available or camping available. So I'm gonna have to get real strategic tonight about where I stay. And since I'm in a populated area, I'm like leaving the Sacramento suburbs. I need to bike far, 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 far. So it's gonna be a physically exhausting day and emotionally as well. I'm really gonna be pushing myself to my limits, but really it's just so I can stay safe. So this is the setup in the basket. I got the solar panels here. I got this hard cooler here, which is good because when I'm out in the woods doing dispersed camping where it's not an official campground, there will be bears and critters around, and they will definitely want my food. So this hard container is everything. And then this backpack, it already barely fits in here. Whew. As you can see, like, it's just falling apart, like it's ripping, and I've attempted to fix it with duct tape, but it still didn't do the trick. So critters are still gonna want to crawl in my bag, or I don't want critters to smell my food. So that's why I got this ridiculous giant pineapple. That's just what they had. So I kind of don't think it's gonna fit, but maybe I can just not fill it all the way full of food so I can compress it down. That's the nice thing about not having a hard container, is like you can compress it down if you need to. Also today I've got this washcloth on my head. I'm learning how to stay cool in the heat. Little life hack. All right, new helmet, new setup in the front. I took out the solar panels. They're pretty heavy anyway, so I just got space for the coolers. And where I put the solar panels, I just added it to this pile of stuff that's hanging on by a single bungee cord. So, like, we've got dog food here, it's pretty heavy. The tent is light, sleeping bag is light, sleeping pad is light. This back scratcher cracks me up. My friend helped me figure out how to best pack the back scratcher, and it's just so brilliant. And I think about her every time when I pack it up, which is like nearly every day. It's really sweet. So yeah, I have the solar panels down here, and I pray to fucking God that this works and they don't just like slip out on the highway and get crushed by a car. I think I would cry. Yeah, because it's a big source of my power, especially as I enter the mountains and it's less populated and I start actually camping for a while and I'm not just on the road every freaking day. I'm not going to have access to electricity, so I will like totally rely on these solar panels to keep recharging my bike and my computer so I can continue my writing, and my phone so I can continue my coaching calls and navigating. So we'll see how it works out. So we're getting ready to take off again. Just a quick side note about noticing white privilege. So this helmet, I couldn't get the little plastic thingies on there, the zip ties that were holding on like the cardboard, whatever that stuff is that they used to advertise it. So I had to ask for help. I couldn't do it by myself, and I had to go back inside and be like, "Hey, could you cut these things off?" And they asked me, "Did you already buy this?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I didn't have my receipt, and so they were like, "Okay," and they just gave me some scissors and I snipped it off. But yeah, I'm just noticing the sense of ease I experienced with that. They didn't make me show a receipt or something, or they didn't question me or doubt me. They just asked once and they were like, "Okay, cool, done." And yeah, I'm curious if I was any other color other than white, like maybe that would have been much more difficult, or maybe there would have been more tension or suspicion or something. So just it's like the little things that really add up that create a sense of ease, because it's not easy to be on the road. So I'm really appreciating these little snippets of ease, and it feels good to try to be as aware as possible, because it's unfair to receive that kind of treatment. Like, everybody should receive that treatment. So I want to be respectful and honor, what I've inherited just by noticing it and just seeing it. I feel like that's what is in my power in this moment. Guess where we are? We're always stopping at Starbucks because it is a chain, and I don't feel guilty when I use their Wi-Fi without paying. But ultimately, I spend enough time here where I do end up buying something. So, but also not feeling guilty about eating these French fries from Carl's Jr. and this It kind of looks gross actually, but it is a vegan, like Beyond Meat burger. It's what I can get, and yeah, we're beating the sun, or not beating. That sounds violent. We're taking a break from the sun, and yeah, I've been sitting in a lot of tension with like, I've been blogging, like video blogging, and it's been really fun for me. It's been helping me reflect and process my experiences. I feel excited to connect with people over my reflections and my experiences. Yeah, it's just helping me integrate because I'm experiencing so much. Like even within a single day, it's so potent. But then when I look like 7 days ago, I'm like, oh my god, I've been through so much. So the just reviewing the videos helps me reflect. But God, my phone, it doesn't have too much storage. If I look at like the storage optimization, if I go into the settings, like literally over half of the storage space is like uh, stuff I can't delete or alter. It's like the updates that Apple does, and I know they do that because they like to push out the storage space and have you upgrade and spend more money. They've been caught in that, but like I'm caught up in their stupid system. So yeah, I have such limited storage space on my phone that I can't even export these videos because I'm using this app. It's not like just through Photos or whatever, the Photos app. It's like a video editing app. It's kind of similar to TikTok where I can like trim videos and do some edits. It's just easier for me, especially now that I'm off TikTok and I don't miss it. Bye bye forever. Oy. But yeah, I can't even export these videos to upload them to my computer because it's like you don't have enough storage space. So, oh my god. Financial stress is so annoying. It makes life just a little less easeful. Got to be like really on top of my data management. I can't let this stuff accumulate too much, or else I literally can't export it. And it's hard because I can't really stop. I have to pay money basically to stop because I can only like I would need to pay to stay somewhere for an extended time. I can't stay for more than a day or two max at these hosts' house. They're so generous and they're just offering hospitality from the kindness of their hearts. And I'm just like this sweaty guy on a bike with his dog. So I'm not about to like, yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, I legit can't afford hotels or even motels because I'm just on such a low budget. So, and then there's patches where like there aren't any hosts available, and so I have to sleep on the ground, and I'm trying not to get caught, so I have to leave at like crack of literal dawn at like 5:30 in the morning, and I've just yeah, I've been so physically exhausted and just go go go. I'm trying to just make it to the mountains so I can plant myself for 2 weeks at a time. I'm so ready for that, just to like stop the constant moving and like the eating of fast food. My God, it's hard on my system, but it's like what's accessible, you know? So, anyways, long story short, I'm sitting in tension with just my access to resources is a bit limited with my income in this moment. Like I have a few coaching clients and I enjoy it. I love it, but yeah, geez, I just I thought I would be saving some money by not paying rent and just being on the road, but it turns out like I'm buying all this fast food and the coffee, and it just like really adds up, honestly. Yeah, and like the tune-up was like 133 bucks for the bike, but my back tires on the trailer were bald, like bald after 7 days, completely bald. So it's just all these little things that add up, you know. And I would love to upgrade my phone, but like I have a bad credit score because I went through coach training and it cost me $20,000, and they coached me through the financial blocks. I was like, yo, I don't have that money, and I just moved to California. I could barely afford rent here as it is, and they were all, oh, just imagine the possibilities. Ugh, it's like that spiritual bypassing stuff, you know, that like those like white spiritual communities, but like yeah, this like wellness industry that's just like dominated by like privileged white people. Like definitely I'm a white person and I have white privilege, but I don't have that class privilege like they do. You know, they all got like husbands and shit paying for their rent, and they're just like, oh yeah, you can pay for this, and I'm like, baby, we're living in different worlds. Like, anyways, yeah, just since I've come out as trans 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago at this point. It's just been one big transition after the next, and it's been so destabilizing for my life. And I'm proud of where I've gotten myself, stability wise, especially emotionally, but financially too. I'm just like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. But still, like, I'm just barely getting on my feet, you know? So I'm feeling the tension of the financial constraints. It's not ideal, but I'm just out here doing my best, you know? And yeah, like even the TikTok thing. The only reason I got on TikTok was because I needed a way to like find a steady stream of clients. Because like what I'm offering is literal magic. It's like fucking transformative and amazing. You cannot get it in other places because what I'm doing is so outside of the system. It's like unprofessional because professionalism is a product of white supremacist culture. And like I will blog about this in more detail because it is a deep topic and there's so much to say. But what I'm saying is, I I see in my clients how transformative the work we do is and how unique it is, and they're even amazed. They're like, "What is this magic?" Like they don't even have words for it. They can't even describe it. But it's just so deeply healing because I'm not working within the system. That's the whole magic of it. The system is fucked. The system is seeped in oppression. You know, but we're so used to it and it's so normalized that we don't even notice it. But that's the work I do. I help people notice and then adjust. So the reason I got on TikTok was to find the clientele, and it worked, but it was overstimulating for me. I found myself um, being a servant to the algorithm in order to get the views, and so I was adapting myself to be flashy and quick, and it just wasn't me. It's not who I am. My vibe is much more like move at the speed of trust, move at the pace of the earth, not at the pace of capitalism, not at the pace of trying to literally compete for people's attention when their fingers are addicted to like scrolling, 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 scrolling. I'm just so done with that. I'm not trying to fight for attention. I know what I'm offering is like literally amazing. It's amazing. It's incredible. So, yeah, yeah, so I was having a steady income stream when I was immersed in TikTok, but it's just out of integrity with my values, with my well-being. It was taking a negative toll on my health. I would get distracted and sucked in, and I would lose hours of my time in there because it's designed that way. They make money by capturing your attention. So I'm not even interested in like setting the boundaries I need, like people recommend, in order to not suck your attention in there. Because it's like walking into a volcano and saying, okay, but we're going to take protections so you don't get burnt. I'm like, bitch, we're inside of a volcano. Like, let's just walk into the forest. It's like way more easeful. So I'm off of TikTok and I don't regret it. But um, yeah, there's a financial cost for me. So I'm investing in deepening into the blog. It's one of the primary reasons I'm taking this trip to begin with, so I can get out of that hustle culture, that rent cycle. I was paying $950 a month rent plus utilities, and then not to mention food and like business expenses. Like I use all these software for my work that I have to pay monthly for, and it's just like all these little things that add up. I could barely even pay to socialize. Like rent was about 80% of my income. And yeah, I'm just tired of being in that stress cycle. And when I'm in that stress cycle, I feel that pressure to be less authentic and more like output oriented or like money oriented. And that's just not who I want to be in the world. I want to show up in deep authenticity with folks because that is the thing that heals. All to say, I'm pivoting and there's a financial cost, but I know it is a long term investment and I know it is worth it. And in the meanwhile, I'm sitting in the tension of, just like, yeah, like the TikTok thing worked for me. Like on paper, I had 20,000 followers when I left, just earlier this month, actually, July 1st, I left it, which was an intention I set in January because I wanted to give myself time to transition and grow my following on my blog and my YouTube channel. But of course, that takes time. So, yeah, part of me going into the woods for 3 months is so I can take my time and build it up authentically and not like from this place of scarcity and like money pressure. Yeah, it's just not. So, yeah, the tension is alive and it's not ideal, but it is worth it in the long run. I like the way I live my life. Living in integrity is the most important thing to me, And sometimes it creates a lot of tension, but I know that I'm not going to be one of those people who just all of a sudden feels like something is off in their life in their 40s. I'm 29. Um, they're just like depressed, but they don't understand why. Because on paper, their life looks great. They have like the husband and the house and the picket fence and stuff, but like something is off, you know? And so I know that I'm living in contrast to the system and it feels deeply fulfilling, but you know, there's like that tension that it brings. But instead of me waiting until I'm like in my middle ages and I'm divorced and unhappy and realizing my sexuality is suppressed and that I haven't been advocating for my needs, or I've been disconnected from myself because I'm totally enmeshing my identity with a romantic sexual partner who ends up leaving me or cheating on me. And like, no shame, it's a common experience because that is just what happens when you're wrapped up in these systems. It's all surrounded, um, not surrounded, it's rooted in scarcity. And so, of course, like, it's designed this way to have you be disconnected from yourself and make yourself vulnerable by investing all your eggs in one basket. And like, it's a horrible setup to begin with. So I know when I do reach that age that I'm going to be way more stable than folks who are kind of awakening at that age and then realigning. Like, I'm already pivoting, so it will pay off. But yeah, in fact, a lot of my clients are the people that I'm describing. And like I'm saying, there's no shame. Like, I help people move back into alignment. I help people like reconnect to themselves, and like, really, I help people develop a relationship with themselves. I don't tell them what to do or who they are. I just open the door and give them the space that they've possibly have never had in their lives to even take a look. Yeah, I help them dig deeper than they could on their own. And it's that connecting to oneself that is it creates the possibility of liberation, where you're not just doing the default thing on autopilot, but it's like you can have an intentional um, moment to be like, how do I want to live my life? Who do I want to be in the world? Do I want to participate in the collective suicide of the earth in this capitalist system that we're all living in? Or do I want to live in a way that celebrates life and upholds life? Woo! I'm good at sermons. They just flow out of me. So, all this to say, donations are greatly appreciated to support me in my journey. So I am really good at managing my money, actually, because poverty, like, you have to be creative. You don't have a choice. You have to be. So I know how to make my money stretch, and donations are greatly appreciated. But what is even better than donations is supporting my work, is like sharing it with friends, with family, because I'm telling you, like, you cannot get this stuff anywhere else. What I offer is so unique and so deeply liberating that you have to take a peek. You got to dig a little deeper to really understand, because it's hard to articulate. But you can talk to some of my clients and they'll just like they'll tell you how magical it is. Yeah, so that's my situation, and I would love to be able to afford to replace this phone with one that has like 3 times the memory, because this is just what I could afford, you know. But especially as I'm going into the woods and I'm using the navigation, I need to download maps offline, and like, I don't have the storage for it. You know, I use my phone for work, and I don't have the storage to record content. So frustrating. So I'm at the Starbucks, and yeah, I'm finally taking some time because it's too hot to bike anyways. So I'm spending about 5 hours here. Can you imagine? Poor doggy. She's so patient. My God. But yeah, I'm moving some data around. It's not my ideal way to spend my time because I'm exhausted. I would actually love to be taking a nap, but I'm going to continue to record content. And I want to. I feel excited about it as I continue my journey. So, like, I have to just take a pause and, like, offload some of the stuff. And I'm, like, deleting apps that I, like, love to use just so I could free up some storage space on my phone so that I have enough space to export these videos. And then finally, once they're exported, I can move them to my computer, and then I can delete them from my phone, and then I can re-download the apps that I'm, like, using consistently, like Signal, which is a great app for communicating with people in private. Oh my God. But this is my life. Yeah, a lot of moving pieces, and I'm just exhausted. I'm feeling like overly productive right now, not by choice, but by necessity. And I look forward to some relief. So if you could please, please support me in any way possible. If you don't have money, that's chill. But what would be more meaningful to me is if you actually like share my stuff, share my offerings with people that you know, because they're freaking magical.